Hi there, welcome back to the Car UK channel. In today's video, we're going to talk to you about MOT testing fees and how the government is actually looking to raise those fees on back of the calls from small garages in the motor industry who have been crippled by frozen fees for the past 14 years. I'm going to talk to you about why these fees have been frozen for the past 14 years, why garages are calling for them to be increased, the crisis in the industry, and whether or not you guys watching this video agree with the increase and your thoughts on it. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Okay, so as the headline suggests, the government is looking at the potential of putting up the MOT testing fee. Now, for those of you who don't know, an MOT is an annual inspection on vehicles over 3 years of age that is carried out on all cars in the UK. Now, on the British mainland, Northern Ireland's slightly different, but on the British mainland, it is actually dealt with by local garages. So local garages are effectively licensed by the DVSA, which is basically the Department of Transport, to carry out these inspections. And for the last 14 years, these inspections have been capped at £54.85. That means no matter where you go, a testing station cannot charge you more than £54.85. Now, they can charge lower. In fact, there is no minimum test fee. So theoretically, if someone wanted to charge you £1 for an MOT, they can do that. But most garages in the UK charge somewhere between 30 and the full maximum £54.85. Now, the cries from the industry is because the fee, like I said, has not been touched for 14 years. Now, prior to that, it was actually updated quite regularly and it was actually staying in line quite well. But since 2010, there has been literally no increase at all. And for the first few years, that was probably acceptable because at the time we were coming out of a major financial banking crisis and money was tough. I'm not suggesting that isn't the case now, but at the time it was just seen that putting any further costs on the motorists was just not going to be possible. However, over the last few years, the calls from the industry has got stronger, mainly because their costs have gone up, actually gone through the roof, and the costings are not the same as they were 14 years ago. The cost of MOT testers' salaries is probably almost doubled in that period. Garages have become more expensive as they've had to pay bigger salaries, got larger overheads, lots of costs as well associated with electricity, and obviously their suppliers' parts and stuff have gone up. And also as well, the DVSA, who run the MOT scheme, who are sort of the overheads, if you like, of the system and have inspectors that go out to garages and make sure they're doing a proper job, their training, which used to be free, has now been put onto garages. So in fact, garages are now having to provide more and have still not got an increase in the fee. So basically they're having to do more work, spend more money to keep their licenses than they did 14 years ago for exactly the same amount. And there comes a point when you're going to get a crisis, and that is what is being suggested by the Independent Garage Association, who represents a large portion of the garage industry. In fact, they are saying that it is actually threatening the viability of small garages. Now, I can actually sympathise with that because until recently I was an MOT tester, and in fact I ran my own little testing station for about a decade, so I can completely understand where they're coming from. Now, for me, I didn't actually charge the maximum fee. Couple of reasons. Where I was located was a bit off the beaten track, so my overheads were a lot lower, so I decided not to charge the higher fee. And also from a business decision, locally where I was, it wasn't viable to charge the maximum fee because basically you just wouldn't have got the business. However, there are other garages in different parts of the world where they can charge the maximum fee, and particularly down south where costs are extremely more expensive than they are here in the northwest of England where I am based. I can understand why they charge that maximum fee and why they need an increase because, like I said, all those salaries and costs have just gone through the roof. And the argument being that if there is not an increase in the fee, we're going to see a lot of testers walking away from the industry, which in fairness, I've already seen happen during COVID. A lot of testers basically who were being underpaid just left the sector and went to do other things. We could see garages start to close as well. And basically garages could also shift away from doing MOTs and just stop it altogether and just focus maybe on just general repairs and servicing. So I do sympathise with their position that a test fee increase does need to happen. Now, if it kept in line with inflation, it probably somewhere in the region of about £100 a test. Now, I'm not suggesting for one moment, although the garages I'm sure would love that should be happening. And also, like I said, I'm no longer in the MOT game anymore. In fact, I'm on the opposite spectrum. I'm actually a used car dealer now paying for MOTs. So any increase is going to affect me just like it's going to affect you. But even I would agree that although there's no benefit to me whatsoever not being an MOT station anymore, there does need to be an increase. However, it does need to be fair. Now, you might ask why the government hasn't put up the MOT fee for the last 14 years. Now, like I said, in the early days when we were coming out of that financial crisis, I can understand why even anything to do with putting up prices of the road user was a big no-no. However, as the government moved on into the 2010s, it started to become a bit anti-car. Well, certainly the last government. I don't think this government either is particularly car-friendly, but the last government wasn't either. And it could have increased the cost on you guys, on your MOT fee, by increasing that maximum fee. If the fee goes up, all the garages will put their prices up to basically try and extract more money from punters in order to cover their costs. But with that cap in place, they were unable to do that. And the reason for that, or at least my view on it, is that it doesn't really affect the government, and in fact it actually benefits the government by keeping the prices capped. You see, unlike other costs to drivers, such as fuel duty, road tax pricing, and also insurance premium tax, something that gets overlooked a lot, and by the way, insurance premium tax has doubled since 2011, so i.e. your premiums have gone up and the tax on those premiums which you pay has also doubled. They directly affect how much income the government is getting, i.e. if they put up insurance premium tax or fuel duty or road tax, they get more money from you. But putting up the cost of an MOT from £54.85 to £75 in no way benefits the government whatsoever, because they don't get any income from it. It's not a tax. However, there is a gain for the government by not putting it up, and we've seen this happen time and time again, which is that you can basically use it and spin it into an advantage to say that you are car friendly. And every time the government comes out at a budget and says we've kept the cost of the MOT at £54.85, they usually throw out some junior minister from the Department of Transport to make out that the government has been car friendly and is on the side of the motor user. The reality is that they probably put up fuel duty, or they put up VAT, or they put your car insurance premiums up one way or the other. So all they've done is just basically done you a sleight of hand and give you something one way but taking it from another. So really the government had no benefit at all in putting up the MOT testing fee. In fact, it was a disadvantage to it by doing so, because it just looked bad on them. However, that trick can't last forever, and at some point, if you don't put the fees up, you are going to get into a crisis position, which is where garages are now finding themselves. So I suppose the next question is what should the fee be? Well, I for one agree that the fee should definitely go up, even though that it's going to cost me more money out of my pocket regularly. And I'm sure most of you out there who use local garages, etc., and particularly if you like your local garage, don't want to see them suffer or go under because they are basically priced out of the market, or they can't compete with someone else around the corner who's doing cut price MOTs. An increase does need to happen, and I would see possibly the fee going up to somewhere around £69 maybe, or maybe £75. We'll see. There's been some numbers thrown around. Perhaps maybe you can get in the comments and suggest where that fee should be. For me, around £65 to £75 would be welcome, and I think would be a nice balance. That doesn't mean that your MOT fee from tomorrow morning would go from £54.85 to £75, because not all garages charge the maximum fee, and not all of them will increase to the maximum fee. Some may go somewhere between that. Others may have to go to that maximum fee. There'll be a lot of garages that might be charging £40 today or £45 that can then go up to £55. And you'll be amazed how much that slight increase can help those businesses function, operate, create new jobs, and also take on things like apprenticeships, which is also something that is in decline, particularly in local garages. So anyhow, let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think the MOT fee should be increased? And if you don't, let me know why. And if you do, let me know how much you think is a fair price for the MOT increase in 2025. Get yourself in the comments and let me know your thoughts. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, please check out my other content, and also please like and subscribe to the Car UK channel. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.